Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Pot Smoker's Bible. My name is Zion. I'm the author of the Pot Smoker's Bible, which contains the prophetic book of Zion, where I get my name and authority. It comes from the Ketuvim, or Old Testament, of the Hebrew manuscript. I use the King James Version of the Christian Bible to put together the prophecy of Israel from the scattered testimony of the various prophets of Israel. It became the Book of Zion, the judgment for our final days. And it outlined in great detail the year 2020, the year of judgment. And in order to publish the Book of Zion, I had to write the Pot Smoker's Bible as a commentary and dissertation to the prophecy of Israel, because the prophecy itself is written entirely in Bible verse, and that those Bible verses instructed me as to how to finalize and actualize the prophecy of Israel as foretold. And because I was uniquely qualified to do so, I took it upon myself to enact the events of the prophecy, the final act of which is to publish peace, which is why I'm reading to you from the manuscripts that I have written, the Pot Smoker's Bible and the Book of Zion. And today I'm reading to you from the 26th chapter of the Pot Smoker's Bible. It contains the 23rd chapter of the Book of Zion. It's called Behold My Servant, or the Book of Messiah. I'm going to take out where I left off last time, and it goes like this. There is not a single crime that is committed that doesn't stem from an emotional problem of some sort. So I intend to cure the emotional ills of our people. And by so doing, we will create a non-violent society. Its violence will be non-existent. It will simply be no cause for any violent behavior. Our prisons are full of not only drug users, but also of enraged victims. Our society breeds violence and rape. Our media and our so-called entertainment industry spew out violence and sexual stimulation that becomes more and more prolific year after year. We teach our children to first be victims and then to become the abusers. Our society breeds violence. However, I'm pretty sure that those who are truly violent and who embrace evil won't be coming to Zion. People who enjoy causing others pain will reject my message of peace and unity. They will stay here where they can enjoy the carnage to come. So the only prisoners that Kenny is going to free will be those whose sentences are drug related, or for people who are known to be Zionites prior to their arrest. Because if a Zionite commits a violent act, then was something that caused it. So Zionites who are known drug users will also come home. But they will be required to go through the healing rituals so that they can heal their wounds and re-embrace the concepts of peace and unity. My people have been pushed far beyond their abilities of their peaceful natures to endure. But with the chance to heal, these Zionites can learn to rechannel their anger and heal their wounded psyche. So, Kenny will first work towards freeing our drug dealers from their unlawful imprisonments. Those dealers and other Zionites who are going to come home will be eagerly awaited. Their release and those homecomings will be the cause of celebration in Zion, as our embattled friends at last enjoy society. The next passage, 42:8. I am the Lord, that is my name, and my glory I will not give to another, neither my praise to graven images. Just as the Gray remind us over and over that Israel isn't to be forgotten or left out, so too they remind us again there is only one physical God, the Gray, and there is only one chosen one, only one man who speaks for them. His name is Kenny Baldwin, descended from, I have no doubt, King Baldwin of Jerusalem, the last ruling king to sit on the throne of David, king of Israel. The last line states in plain language, Jesus is an idol. Kenny is a living man. No one who has been dead for over 2,000 years can save you. No God is ever portrayed in stone, wood, or metal. Those are idols. The cross is an idol. It represents a dead man who cannot save because he's dead. And even if Kenny were dead, it would still be more logical for him to be reborn, to grow up, to become our future king, than for Jesus, who's been dead for over 2,000 years, to come back in the physical body that no longer exists. So this passage reminds us that God the Gray chose a living man to speak on their behalf, rather than a mythical dead man represented by an idol. 42:9 states, Behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. The prophets are reminding us that the text they left us contains a pre-record of our history so that we can trace our timeline through prophecy. I took the time to do so. It does play out right. I didn't include the prehistory in this book, but human history up to this point is recorded in the prophecy. But the text goes on to foretell of things yet to be, things that happen because of the publication of this book. The prophets tell us that this book of their prophecy will cause everything they foretell to happen. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy. They tell us what to do in order to make happen what they say will happen. So I was able to fulfill the prophecy by following the instructions left for me by the aliens that set in motion the events they foretold. It wasn't just because I followed the text's instructions that I have succeeded. I had to first figure out what the text was saying. I had to be the one to do so, or someone who is just like me had to do it. So just as God has foretold the events of my life, they have told us beforehand what is about to happen because of the events that I have already set in motion. By following the instructions left to us by the Gray have provided for the creation of the events required to reunite the Grays with the human race. My next passage in the prophecy is from Isaiah 49, 7 to 10. It becomes Zion 23, 15 to 18. And it goes like this. Thus saith the Lord, the Redeemer of Israel, and his Holy One, to him whom man despiseth, to him whom nations abhorreth. To the servant of rulers, kings shall see and arise. Princes also shall worship because of the Lord, who is faithful, the Holy One of Israel, and he shall choose thee. Thus saith the Lord, in an acceptable time have I heard thee, and in a day of salvation have I helped thee. And I will preserve thee, and give thee for a covenant of the people, to establish the earth, to cause to inherit the desolate heritages, that thou mayest say to the prisoners, Go forth. To them that are in darkness, show thyselves. They shall feed in the ways, and their pastures shall be in all high places. They shall not hunger nor thirst, neither shall the heat of the sun smite them. For he that hath mercy on them shall lead them, even by the springs of water shall he guide them. 49:7 says, Thus saith the Lord, the Redeemer of Israel, and his Holy One, to whom man despiseth, to him whom nations abhorreth, to the servant of rulers. Kings shall see and arise. Princes also shall worship because of the Lord, who is faithful, the Holy One of Israel, and he will choose thee. So, this passage is reminding us again that Messiah is the chosen one. The Redeemer isn't a 2,000-year-old ghost. It's a living man, a man who has no friends in government. He is despised, not cherished. He is abhorred. People hate him. Jesus can't be Messiah. He wasn't despised. Even as he carried the cross down the streets of Jerusalem, he was much loved by the Essenes. He was in no way, shape, or form despised of men or abhorred. But Kenny can make that claim. He was a servant of kings or presidents. He was a National Guard. He served part-time, a weekend warrior, as we call them. But that still makes him more qualified than Jesus, who was never a servant of anyone but his followers. So Jesus didn't fit the storyline. He didn't qualify, but Kenny does. Because of the war on drugs, Kenny is despised by men. He is of the abhorrent people who use drugs. And it was his drug use that put him in the National Guard in the first place. It was an alternative to probation back in the 70s, so Kenny can claim to be abhorrent to the rulers and kings. He is part of the war on drugs. So, unlike other would-be messiahs, Kenny has qualifications. He was actually chosen for Zion, me, by God, Ishi. Whereas Jesus tried to create Zion, i.e. Mary Magdalene, but failed. No one believed Mary had any true role in the prophecy, so Jesus failed. He wasn't chosen for Mary by God. He chose Mary to become his Zion, but she was no more qualified than Jesus. However, having been chosen by Ishi for me does give Kenny the right qualifications. So when Kenny appears as my chosen one of Israel, there will be no doubt. He will have the entire nation of Zion as his proof of authority. When he does show up, no one will doubt his leadership because he will have the Council of the Great to refer to for advice and aid and for authority. Because he is approved by the Great, he will be acknowledgeable as the true and only Messiah can. And this is where I'm going to end for today. So, may the Great watch over you, guide you, protect you, and keep you from all harm. May they teach you right from wrong, and may you be worthy of them. May your thoughts, words, and deeds reflect truth, good, and light. The Unicorn Way. Find your joy and pursue it, and make that your guild choice when we get to Zion. If you do drugs, stay happy and high. You have every right and reason to. Believe me, I know. I wrote 2 books about it. You are a priest to the Most High God of Israel. just as I am the Zion of the Most High God of Israel. And I will never say goodbye. I love you way too much. So I'll always say later.